Okay, so how to turn on? Okay. So everyone, hi, I'm Guntur again. I am a solar PV company. We create solar farm. We do solar for residential rooftop, industrial rooftop, as well as utility scale solar farm. This is our solar farm in Malacca. The first one we complete in 2011, in 2014. And my company in Malaysia, we have 27 years of experience. We have 300 million ringgit worth of asset. We have a revenue of 760 million over the next 21 years. In Malaysia, the solar market is growing very rapidly, and the minister just announced a 1,000 megawatt quota license to be given away in the open bidding process in Malaysia. So yesterday, I have also have a webinar with the Minister of MOEE, Myanmar, also offering a 1,000 megawatt capacity. So the whole world is moving towards green, and I think this is a very coincidence. What a coincidence today that we have this session. We can share our experience, and who knows, maybe you can venture into this business. So in 2014, we completed the world's most efficient solar farm. When everybody take 5 acres to do 1 megawatt, our solar farm in Malacca only take 1.5 acres per 1 megawatt. And we do 20% yield higher than what we designed. In 2018, we completed the Malaysia first large-scale solar, 30 megawatt AC, connected to the grid on 8 November. After that, only other companies start connecting to the grid. So when you talk about solar photovoltaic, the most important aspect that you must consider is the irradiance. We are very fortunate that in ASEAN, we have a high irradiance. If you look at this irradiance data for Indonesia, in the Surabaya, you have a highest irradiance of 1534. And if you move into Indochina, we have Thailand, area in Nakhon, you have high, area in up south, you have higher, whereas area in the down north, you have slightly lower irradiance. Same as Vietnam. If you look at Vietnam irradiance data, you have high irradiance in Ho Chi Minh City area, but in Hanoi, it was slightly lower. So a lot of investors are moving into Ho Chi Minh City solar park in order to bid for license. And for Myanmar, I can see very clear here that the highest irradiance of 1,600 kilowatt hour per kilowatt peak per year is in the area of central area like Mandalay, Napitau, Yangon is not so bad, but the further north, down north is not so good. Yeah. So Myanmar is a very good country to have solar, large scale solar, and you can provide this solar to the whole country. Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, you can see that the northern part of the peninsular Malaysia, on the left-hand side, we have Kuala Lumpur. That is where the highest irradiance are. And the southern part near Singapore is less. And on the East Malaysia, you have the Sabah, Kota Kinabalu is highest irradiance, and the down in Kuching is lower irradiance. So ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, solar is a very straightforward system. You have solar PV, solar panel. You have solar panel with solar cell. The moment you have sunlight photon strike into solar cell, you will generate DC current electricity. Then the electricity will go into a grid inverter. The grid inverter will convert from direct current to AC current and go to PV meter, and then you can use straight away. In Malaysia, our utility company is Tenaga Nasional Berhad. So that's principle how it works. So from a simple system at home where we install on the rooftop, then I take you to the next level where on the right-hand side, I have circuit where we do a medium voltage installation. We do connection to, on the left-hand side, we have medium voltage installation of 33 kilovolt kV system. We have an 8 megawatt solar farm. From the bottom, it goes to the up. If you read the circuit diagram, From the bottom, you go to the up, and from there you can connect to the distribution line and sell the energy to a utility company. And on the right-hand side, you have a 132 kV. In the 132 kV, you will have to construct a switching station where you step up from 133 kV system into 132 kV, and you connect to the national grid. And as you know, we have ASEAN grid. So in the ASEAN grid connectivity system, we can generate electricity in Malaysia and export the energy to other parts of ASEAN, like Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and so on. So the significance of this project is in 2012, when we construct our plant, 8 megawatt plant system, we use 29,000 pieces of solar panel. But when we do in 2017, we only use 110,000 panel. And in terms of inverter selection, in 2012, we use a string inverter for 8 megawatt plant, where we need 390 pieces. But in 2017, we only use 14 units. You know, in 2012, when we start using the first one, and we have to use 390 pieces of string inverter, everybody laugh at us because they say, you are crazy, Guntur. You have to maintain and service 390 pieces and so much to do. But over time, people come back and say that was a very wise move. You know why? Because if we use string inverter in 2012, when the system breaks down, you have to bring in experts from Germany, from Sweden, from overseas to come and repair. And normally these parts will come and arrive in 2 months or so. As a result of that, we have zero downtime, no outage in the 8 megawatt plant. When we have enough knowledge, expertise, we have our own in-house technician, then only we start using the central inverter. That's why in 2017, we are more confident. We use a string inverter over there. And in terms of employment opportunity, when we do 8 megawatt, we employ 230 people. And when we do the 37 megawatt, we have 304 people, employment opportunity working for us. And land size, as I explained to you, in 2012, we use 17 acre, about 1.5 acre per megawatt. But when we do the large-scale solar farm system, we need 98 acres of land. 84 million in 2012 and 214 million in 2017. Yeah. So in terms of timeline, when you talk about solar, large-scale solar farm, time is of essence. In Malacca, we take about 3 years to complete an 8 megawatt plant. When we do a 330 megawatt plant, we only need 1.5 years. So this means that the time that you need to do the construction has been reduced by half. So we have saved 50% of the cost that we need to spend on the overhead over the period of time. And we can start selling the energy within a short period of time, so the interest rate that we pay to the bank also is reduced. So this is an image of how the land looks like when we do the 8 megawatt plant. Before we start doing the construction, it was a bare land. There's nothing there. Then we start doing the construction. We put in the system. We do the earthwork clearing. We put in the fence, the cordon, and we put up the mounting structure. We install the solar panel. We put a control building, and we install and commission. And we're very happy to say that in Malacca, we have 100% local talent. So we are very honored and very grateful because the government of Malaysia do a lot of capacity building training in Malaysia in order for us to produce able and capable technicians to do the installation and repair of our solar power plant. And on the right-hand side, when it's complete, it looks so nice. So that's where we won the award for the world most efficient solar farm by the European PV magazine. So as I told you, the most important aspect of solar PV plant is actually the irradiance. I share with you, Malacca is located in the southern part of Peninsular Malaysia. I only have 1,371 kilowatt hour per kilowatt peak per year. And Bido is a more north part of Malaysia. We have 1,472. So this is slightly higher. You see the difference, yeah? And in terms of generation, we are very fortunate. I put there in the Melaka plant, I put there the generation for the last 5 years, 6 years, and the dotted line. The dotted line is where we need to pay the bank loan. We need to produce 621,000 megawatt hour per month per year in order for us to pay the loan to the bank. So with this guideline, then we always observe to make sure that the project is always viable and the bankers are happy to receive their payment on time. There is also, if you notice, in 2016, the curve in 2016 is a bit lower than the rest of the curve because in 2016 we have a haze phenomena. Haze phenomena is a very serious issue where there is little sunlight that pass through from the sky to the terrestrial. So in that sense, it reduced our generation income by about 20%. And there is also in 2017 where we have eclipse. Eclipse means you have such a high irradiance and it creates drought in some of the agriculture area. However, in solar business, that was very good. That is the year when we achieved the highest revenue of all the time. So I now go to the generation from 30 megawatt solar farm in Bido. Bido plant is more steady because in Melaka we talk about 8 megawatt DC capacity, whereas in Bido we talk about 30 megawatt AC capacity. From AC to DC, it is about 1.25 or 1.4 depending on the distance as well as the irradiance of the area. So in this case, we only use a conversion rate of 1.2 factor from DC to AC. So we are able to pay the bank loan. You see in November histogram, although you see the low, but November we start selling on the 8th of November, we start selling to the grid and we receive payment in the form of test energy before we start receive payment in the full rate of tariff. Then in 2020, 2019, we have full year, but I don't have a data to share with you, but I'll share you maybe in the next session. So the other important aspect of solar energy is that people thought if you put up solar farm, you can get rich and you don't have to do anything. But in actual fact, you have to do the maintenance regularly. Because the characteristic of solar panel is that you have annual degradation. Although the manufacturer put in data sheet the annual degradation is only 0.6% per year, but from our observation, we see degradation of about 13.75%. So with this degradation, it shows that we have to do some investigation and some repair work we have to do very aggressively. We send a module to the lab in Singapore as well as our own university collaboration lab. We discover that some of our solar panels have been affected by a phenomenon called power-induced degradation. So power-induced degradation, PIC, you can fix the problem by putting a reverse current, or you can replace the whole module. Yeah. So the benefit of solar farm is that number one, we do create 230 highly skilled jobs. We train them, we give them high skill, we pay them high salary. Number two, spin-off business of about 254 million because you engage subcontractor. We give our contract to main contractor give to subcontractor give to another subcontractor, and subcontractor employ people to work. So that's where the spin-off the company. And the carbon emission reduction is about 136,000 tons, and we support the ASEAN or the government program in reducing carbon emission reduction in the country. So the economic impact of this investment is total investment of 84 million. We have 203 ton carbon emission reduction for Melaka and 760 million ton for Bido. It's so much. 100% per year. But the most important of all this, government also make money from our project. We pay GST and we also pay government corporate tax. So from a barren land, we invest our money, 240 million, to make up a solar farm. So this investment create a lot of employment opportunity for unemployed graduates, as well as those contractors who have no job. At the same time, we also pay tax to the government and to the local government. These are some of our staff that works. These are the vendor development program that we do. So normally people ask, oh, what kind of business can we create from solar farm project? Well, number one, O&M contract, F&B. We provide meal for our staff, landscape and nursery. Yeah, we don't have fuel, but we still have to cut the grass. Industrial training, a lot of students come and do internship with us. We have R&D partnership with universities. We have university from UK, university from Singapore, university from Malaysia, and we open. Now we are trying to do some MOU with university from Indonesia. We try to bring them in and let's share the knowledge together. And EPC contractor. Now, this is a very important slide. If you can see here, in 2011, in 2014, when we complete our project of 8 megawatt, it costs us about 5.7 million per megawatt, 10.5 million per megawatt. But then when we do the project in 2019, when we complete the project, the price has dropped from 10 million to only 5.7 million. So it means to say that solar price are going down, and I was made to understand it is even further down at the moment currently. So it is now more competitive and it is a grid parity situation. So challenges that we face in this project, number one, financial. It's very difficult to get a bank loan. But after we do the first project complete and we have a good track record, now a lot of banks come and offer us the loan. Risk perception. Normally bankers are not familiar with the risk of solar farm. They always ask us to change business to become a cafe, cyber cafe operator and so on. But we say, no, this is the business. And after the system performs, then they want to finance more project for us. And the third one is time of the essence. In doing solar project, the power purchase agreement is very important to do it on time. Because if you're late, then you'll be penalized, a big, handsome penalize that we do. So ladies and gentlemen, I will now move into another area. We call it net energy metering. So net energy metering is also a solar, but just now we talk about megawatt capacity. Now with net energy metering, we just put solar on the rooftop. We use some of the energy. Whatever extra, we sell it back to the grid. So there are two types of package to purchase solar energy. Number one, you outright purchase, meaning that you buy the system from a system integrator like me, or there are a lot of other system integrator. So you pay a complete investment upfront. You enjoy full benefit of the saving from solar, and people like us, we provide operation and maintenance service. The other concept that you can buy the energy is you don't want to do no upfront cost to consumer. SI like Gading Kencana, we bear all the investment costs. We just signed a solar power purchase agreement privately for a tenure of 25 years to purchase the energy from solar PV. So the consumer only pay solar energy at the lower tariff than what the utility is charging. Why install solar PV for this in this method? Number one, energy bill saving. So the cost of solar energy is cheaper than cost for utility. Number two, you hedge the value of solar energy. So you know that the costs are increasing. The conventional energy costs are increasing every time. Like in 2019, Myanmar increased their tariff by about 20% electricity. So if you have a solar panel providing you energy, so you are guaranteed that your solar panel, God doesn't charge you extra for the irradiance of sunlight that they give to you. Number three is to reduce carbon footprint. Of course, today there are a lot of international companies, they call it RE100 company, who would like to buy the REC, the Renewable Energy Certificate, in order to make their product more green or more environmental friendly. How does solar energy flows? How does solar energy flows? With utility power supply. As you can see in the diagram, Number one, self-consumption of electricity generated by solar photovoltaic system user. Number two, we export any excess of energy to the grid as a credit and will be used to offset the total electricity bill on similar tariff basis. Number three, the energy export credit will be valid for 2 years. So whatever energy you generate from the roof, from the sun, will go down into your distribution board and used in the factory or offices. Whatever extra, say that day the irradiation is so good, your energy is high and your consumption maybe on Sunday or maybe on Christmas holiday. So the energy that is generated by the solar, instead of used by you because you are on holiday, you can export the energy to the grid. So tomorrow, when you come back to work, you use the energy. In case you don't have enough energy, then the energy will be used from your export energy to offset the bill from the utility. So project work scope and budgetary proposal. So in terms of net energy metering, you can put up a solar panel. You see in Malaysia, normally institutions like schools, they don't allow you to put on the rooftop because they're scared that your roof solar panel will break the roof and it will hurt the children. So what we did, we make an internet into a car park system, car park rooftop. So you have a solar energy, and you also create a car park shade for the teachers and students to park their car, and you can collect some money from them if you want to charge them some money. Then the solar energy from solar panel, we go to the inverter, and then from inverter it goes to switchboard, and it go to household load. Whatever excess energy, it go to the TMB, it go into the outside utility substation. So before you do that, you need to do the 4 things. Number one, you have to do feasibility study and budgetary cost. Number two, we do design and supply commissioning of solar panel. Number three, interconnection of solar. Number four, registration. So you have to register with utility so that the utility company know that your factory or your building have a solar generating equipment. In case of any blackout or shutdown, then they know that there is electricity generating from the area, then we can take a safety precaution. So these are one of our projects. We have done many projects. This is one of our factory clients. So instead of after installing on the rooftop, they also make a big car park, and the energy generated from car park reduce their electricity bill by up to 20%. So tariff. In net energy metering, tariff is so very important. In Malaysia, there are a few tariffs for industry. For instance, tariff D, tariff E, tariff E1, E2, and tariff B, low voltage commercial. I shall share with you example of how does the net energy metering help save the electricity for you. Example number one, if a customer have a E1 tariff, he is using they are using E1 tariff. So if you look at the blue column, TMB only, on average, if you use only TMB, the total energy consumption is about 12 million kilowatt hour per month. And every month their bill is about 5 million ringgit. So 5 million ringgit, you multiply by, you divide by 4.2, about 1 million US dollar. So if you put in solar panel, you see, solar panel does not reduce your energy consumption. Solar panel provide the same energy for your load. If your motor is using 1,000 kilowatt hour per month, electricity will supply 1,000 kilowatt hour. Solar also will supply 1,000 kilowatt hour. But the difference is, look at the green column. If you buy from TMB, utility company, say your solar panel, you can do 1,000 kilowatt hour per month, and you only buy from utility 11 million kilowatt hour. So in that sense, the difference is if you use total utility bill, you pay 5 million ringgit. But if you use a combine of solar and utility, you pay 4.2 million ringgit. So in that sense, you save about 19% of your bill. So one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share. in Malaysia, we have a regulation which say that you cannot install more than 100% of your load. You can only install up to 70% of your load. That is why my calculation is based on the regulation in Malaysia. Maybe in Myanmar, you have separate regulation. In Indonesia, you have separate, but it is almost the same concept. So that was the calculation for tariff E1. For tariff E2, the rate are lower. If you look at tariff E1, the tariff is 33 cents on energy, and solar we charge only 30 cents. Yeah. And in the E2 tariff, your peak is 35 cents, and your off-peak period is only about 21 cents. So there are two categories of tariff. So again, here in my calculation, I have the blue column. We say if you use utility only, your bill it will be 3.9 million a month. But if you use combined, you can achieve 3.5 million. So here, although you see the saving is smaller, only 3%, but the magnitude of 3% is close to million ringgit. Yeah, just now you see big saving, but the big percentage, but the saving number is small. So in this case, you see small percentage, but the magnitude number is higher. So that's how the system works. Yeah? And of course, the most interesting one is the tariff D consumer. Tariff D consumer, the fixed tariff is 38 cents, and more than 200 kilowatt hour, you pay 44 cents. And solar, you sell at maximum of 30 cents all year through. So in this category, if you calculate the saving, you use TMB only, your bill will be 1.4 million. If you use the TMB, if you use the utility and the solar, your bill is 1.1 million. So there is a saving of about 17%. So you see the saving calculation over there. So as I told you, in the net energy metering, this one is my client, Daikin Malaysia. We put a 1 megawatt system. Energy yield per system about 1.3 million kilowatt hour per year. So carbon emission reduction about 26,000 ton per annum. The other important aspect in the rooftop system is normally people will be scared that your installation may create some kind of leaking on the system. So this is another important area when you do you decide on installation. Number one, bracket for the roof tile. So you make sure you don't knock anything and dig a hole on the tile. So you use a bracket where you can slip through the jacket. And the aluminum rail screw on the bracket. So meaning that you don't touch the solar. And then you have bracket metal type where you can clamp on the tiles. And from there you have shingle and it can work as a supporter, a very strong supporter. So these are the type of installation. We have solar array, which suits various installation. We also install one in our capital in Putrajaya. So if you have like number one, 2 kilowatt system, this is the roof where we put in the aluminum runner in Selangor. And then the other system we put in TTDI Jaya, the other or different orientation. If you have a two orientation solar panel, we put in there on residential in Bangi, and 12 kilowatt system. So there are various types of system. But these are all the roof, the normal roof, either V-shape or A-shape roof. But they are also, see, like this. This picture is while we do the installation. We make sure all the cable are tested before we do the connection, because we want to make sure that all modules that we install are good and it can work during the time. So before we do the connection, we test the system. We check the IV curve first before it is being connected on the roof. So this is another client. We have a roof. The roof is flat like that. So what we do is that we create a shape, a structure, so that you have a 7 degrees tilt angle facing south in order to get the highest irradiance from the sun. So this is another side. This guy has got aluminium metal deck. So for aluminium metal deck is more serious and more dangerous. We make sure we don't have any holes, because once it leaks, you're going to have a lot of problems to troubleshoot the leaking as well as to fix it, and you have to remove the solar You have to need. That's why experience and expertise in doing the installation is very important to ensure a good quality system installed. So this is another one again on rooftop. This is a common problem in any metal deck roof installation, because if they are not careful, you're going to crack. You are going to have a nightmare because of the leaking, and it's not easy to troubleshoot, to identify, to locate where does the leak come from. Yeah. So in our project, besides doing EPC, besides doing consultancy, we also identify a few more projects. At the moment, we are trying to invest in the floating solar in Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have also a lot of lake where, as you know, Malaysia was formerly known as a tin mining country, one of the largest tin mine country in the world. So there are about 1,900 ex-mining ponds. So we are identifying a few for us to do floating solar farm. In this way, we will save the soil, the land, for them to use as a cultivation for agriculture product. And as we use the ex-mining pond, which is no value, barren land, we can use this one for mining. We are also working with our community housing board, where house is always expensive to build, and for the community to afford to buy a house is expensive. So what we do is that we want to develop a housing scheme with solar roof, and we take the revenue from solar. When we sell the energy, we make some money. The money from energy we will use to defray the loan repayment, part of the loan repayment for the housing that they pay. So in this way, it will make the house affordable, and the bank cannot deny the application from the home buyer, because they are guaranteed payment from the energy bill, energy income coming from the utility company. So this is another example project. We have aquaculture center. Instead of leave the roof like normal roof, we make it into a solar farm, generate electricity, use it there, and export to the grid, whatever excess. And a futsal court, we put in like this also. So you have both. You can pay the rental of the land from the income from futsal, as well as income from solar. So as I explained just now, we also make a lot of car park roof, so that it can be used in church, in mosque, in the religious worship place. You can use this system. All right. So that is about some of my sharing experience in solar project with you guys. If you have any question, I will be happy to